Good day to you, our dear viewer. Thank you for choosing us. I'm pleased to be here to bring you the 1 o'clock news. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Today is the 10th day of December 2022 and we're coming to you live from Broadcast House. Now getting straight into our updates for the day. The Nabagareka of Buganda, Sylvia Najinda, has launched Mama Faith Luwarira Foundation at Masulita in Wakiso district. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, is the patron of this foundation slated to help vulnerable children holistically. I beg your pardon.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, says he plans to roll out a foundation to help needy children holistically and also equip them with the skills. The Nabagareka of Buganda commended the bishop's wife for her efforts to start a foundation which will help needy children.
I therefore implore you to join hands with Mama Faith Luwarira Foundation using your gifts, your talents, skills and resources to build stable, godly marriages and families and raise a generation of boys and girls that will know God and purpose to walk in His ways. I also appeal to you to pray and fast for the plight of marriages and families so that God can restore them to His original plan. The foundation's purpose is to lift the Lord's banner.
She said that Buganda Kingdom will be assisting the foundation whenever need arises. The Archbishop Church of Uganda, who is also the patron of Mama Faith Luwarira Foundation, His Grace Dr. Kazimba Mugalu, says there is need to help people spiritually and physically.
Okugenda okuleeta enkyukakyuka mu bulamu bw'abantu mu kitundu kino, enkyukakyuka ey'abaana abawala, abaana abalenzi, okusomesebwa, okuyigirizibwa, kubanga Katonda bw'abeerawo tewasigala kye kimu. Katonda bw'akka taleka abantu nga bwe yabasanze. Katonda bw'akka akyusa embeera n'emitima gy'abantu okutandikira ku muntu asookerwako. Katonda ono kyakola. N'olwekyo ndi obwezo bwa ndi kitegeeza Katonda tagenda kuleka kitundu kino kye kimu. Katonda tagenda kuleka jjinja nga terikyusiddwa. Katonda tagenda kuleka bantu nga tebalokoleddwa.
In her speech, Faith Nachitende Luwarira, who was celebrating her 60th birthday, said that many people have helped her realize her vision.
Getting to other updates of the day, communities in Greater Mbale sub-region are mourning the passing on of Dr. Masete Kuya, a former minister who served in the Oboti II government as Minister of Rehabilitation. Professor Masete Kuya also served during the 80s and Chairman National Council of Sports, that is in 1984 till 1985.
Communities in Mount Elgon area are mourning one of their own, Dr. Masete Kuya, who passed on recently.
I can say Masete Kuya is the best development-oriented minister Bugiso has ever had.
The former rehabilitation minister in the Oboti II government is remembered for lobbying for the construction of Mbale Municipal Council Stadium.
Having this stadium, I'm humbled.
Mubutufu tulina kye tukosebwa nnyo ng'abannamizannyo mu kitundu kyaffe wano. Omusajja yateekawo ekifo kyaffe kino kikoze mulimu gw'amaanyi nnyo, kijjejjeyo abaana bangi.
Did a lot for the eastern region, not only Mbale, because the current stadium where we are right now, it's not used by only Mbale, but all over the country we use this pitch.
Bugisu Sub-Region Sports Fraternity is also in sorrow over the loss of Dr. Masete Patrick Kuya, who was the chairperson, National Council of Sports, between 1984 and 1985.
By the time it was constructed during East and Central in 1984, I remember I was also here. I came, something good to remember him.
They want government, through the Minister of Sports, to rehabilitate Mbale City Stadium.
Let them copy a leaf from the late. The late loved sports. We are still using his pitch, but let them renovate this pitch.
Professor Patrick Masete Kuya has been commended for being a patriot who desired all kind of development, not only in Bugiso, but the entire country.
We have lost a patriotic leader, a lover of Masabaland, and who has demonstrated his patriotism and love for his country and his nation, Masabaland.
Yiga Muhammad compiled the story for UBC.
A section of leaders from Bunyoro Kingdom are demanding for unconditional release of a former presidential candidate, Joseph Kabuleta. The National Economic Empowerment Dialogue Party leader, Joseph Kabuleta, was last week remanded to Luzira prison on charges of promoting sectarianism.
Communities in Mount Elgon area are mourning one of their own, Dr. Masete Kuya, who passed on.
The National Economic Empowerment Dialogue Party leader, Joseph Kabuleta, was recently remanded to Luzira prison till 14th December 2022 on allegations of promoting sectarianism. Leaders from Bunyoro region are, however, grieved over the arrest of their own.
Justice. The mode of the arrest of Kabuleta, it is a clear testimony that our government is lacking truth-telling, is lacking justice, is lacking honesty, is lacking trust.
The chairman, Alliance for National Transformation in Bunyoro region, Jackson Wabiona, describes the arrest of Kabuleta as political persecution. Some area politicians claimed that people have always made statements tending to sectarianism but have never been arrested, and therefore demand for a fair trial and release of their son.
Stop this kind of arrest immediately. We have seen and analyzed what Kabuleta has been saying. As Bunyoro, we are comfortable with what he's saying because we feel it's what has been said by many others and it's what is pertaining in the country.
Some youth are also worried that the arrests are a threat to their political career.
Away from that, a Justice and Constitutional Affairs Ministry is planning to come up with human rights at dusk to address issues concerning violation of human rights. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, says this will ease access to justice and to address issues like torture and also trace alleged perpetrators who violate human rights.
Torture is an act or a practice of inflicting pain on someone as a punishment or a tool of forcefully obtaining confession. This can include physical assault, electric shocks, threats, or even psychological through exposure to loud noise, solitary confinement, sexual humiliation, among others.
Of course, as we also understand cases of torture, that they come with a lot of trauma, a lot of mistrusts, a lot of fear.
Torture is an offense and a crime under Article 24 and 44 of the Ugandan Constitution 1995 as amended, and on conviction it attracts 15 years imprisonment or a fine of 2.7 million or both.
The issue of people saying orders from above, I received orders from above, it's not a defense to a charge of torture that you are ordered to torture someone, you can still be charged.
In some cases it is obvious, the court can see that the person has been tortured. And where it has turned out to be obvious, the court has, in some cases, ordered the person to be taken back by the people who brought him to first go and have him treated before he's presented in court.
Torture by security operatives often happen during and after arrest, during the extraction of sought for information.
They called me for interrogation. That's when they tortured me.
Omuntu alikola mirimu jo oyambadde ID twambadde obujaketi oli navaayo nakuba batuni. Mbadde nonde nga tonga nziruka. Nangamba go okola ki wano. Nenjagala zikwata bwenti nziruke nakuba omuggo wano.
Mbagamba yenze. You see, that beating, somebody can say, yes, please don't beat me, I admit. When in fact, he's not the one. It means that the real criminal is not arrested. He's somewhere, and he will commit more crimes.
The torturing suspect is a common method of extorting information from suspects. It is said to be a denial of justice for mainly the suspects, but also plaintiffs.
Even if it's murder, even if it's terrorism, and the person is tortured, and he raises that and court finds that indeed he was tortured, court is supposed to declare that trial a nullity.
And of course, in some cases, such a case may collapse because it might be the only evidence the state had, the prosecution had, and once it collapses, it means the case will collapse.
While addressing the nation on issues of security recently, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni condemned torture and warned the security operatives against the vice.
The use of torture is unnecessary and wrong and must not be used again if it was being used as I see some groups claiming in the media. These lazy security people think that the criminal must admit. No, even if he doesn't admit, but you bring the facts, the court will convict him.
Ugandan opposition, suspected criminals, and sometimes vagabonds have severely complained of torture, especially during arrest.
Torture consistently remains the most reported human rights violation of the years, although with a declining numerical count compared to the baseline year.
Torture is not a policy of government. We have defilement. How come no one has ever accused government of having a policy on defilement? We have more cases of defilement than we have cases of torture, but no one says it's a policy of government. It is a crime in Uganda which is punishable by law.
But the president's words were not matched up with actions of punishing, first of all, or even investigating, or even charging. Charge them and let possible evidence come or release them in court.
According to Africa's Center for Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture Victims, an estimated 1,000 victims of torture are registered annually.
But of course, we also have had a significantly increasing number of people that come up and allege to have been tortured by people in private capacity, the civilians.
The Land Attorney General Chiriwa Chiwanuka says government in one way or the other tried to bring to book suspected culprits.
508 convictions were taken, prosecuted by this government, which you say does not care about torture. We need to work together to get this in clear perspective.
But most of these people who are being prosecuted are domestic people. We've not seen the torture that is decried is largely the torture of people acting in public capacity. Unarmed officer, prison officers, army officers, police officers.
Many times we have not seen cases being filed against the Attorney General, against the state. In those allegations of torture, they have only gone to talk about it in the press without bringing a case to court. And the court cannot help you unless you have a case in court.
Without clear evidence and facts against perpetrators involved in torture, Chiriwa Chiwanuka says this makes it hard for his office to hold them accountable.
But to say there are many people who are being tortured around the country without telling me who they are, where they are, we cannot continuously rely on the continuous pieces of material you throw out on social media. It's not workable.
There are those who are simply playing politics. We don't have control about those who want to play politics. We do not want drama. We had this circus of people who were taken to Nairobi, accident victims being paraded as torture victims. So you discredit yourself.
But then, if you are not going to follow that, there have been some cases which have filed in court. There are cases in civil division where people are suing individual officers for torture. Those ones are not social media. There are cases in court. Many of them they're actually stalled there. But even if there were allegations, I think police, maybe any serious government official, would seek to investigate the allegations.
However, government is persuaded on not abating of any kind of torture in the country.
We requested the president to allow us, myself and the Attorney General, to address the National Security Council on the implications of the lawless actions of certain elements in the security forces. We are going to write to all interested parties, particularly political parties, to share with us all the information they have.
With the constitution and the laws governing torture, if everything is forward, legal minds say the patent vice of torture can be dealt with in the country.
However, we've not seen a change because, one, there's not been matched up with a will, especially the political will, to fight the torture. Secondly, even the judiciary has not come out very strongly in coming up with very stern punishments for some of these cases when they go, where people sue and get 60 remedies. They have not sent out very punitive damages.
Also recommend is for the state to be able to ratify the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture, because this one will be able now to strengthen our preventive mechanisms in the country to ensure that there is a body that addresses issues of torture specifically.
If the investigators do their work well, fingerprints, photographs, DNA tests, eyewitnesses, the use of other scientific methods, the use of dogs, the criminals can get convicted whether they admit or not.
Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Well, we'll start off a short break, but when we return, still to come, I shall be taking you to Luwero as I will look at the clergy encouraging the general public to stay calm amidst scares of the epidemics and pandemics as they held their annual leadership summit. Do stay with us.
Paying for groceries the old way. 3, 4, yeah.
Allow me.
Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
Get value for your money by choosing the right paint. With Global Paints, you don't just paint, but paint for generations to come. Make Global Paints a paint of choice and make your building a paradise. We have weather coat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss, and high gloss. Global Paint, a reliable product.
The festive season is here and it's Christmas in 4G from Airtel. Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda, now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes! 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones this holiday season.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. Happy holidays this festive season with Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Cabote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Cabote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Cabote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted. when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me.
Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
Welcome back. Pleased to be here to serve you better in more updates of the day as far as this Saturday is concerned. Christians have been urged not to lose hope as they go through difficult times like for the last 2 years of COVID-19, which never spared Christians or non-Christians. This was at the annual leadership summit of bishops held at Migade Church in Luweero district.
The coordinator, Pentecostal Assemblies of God, Dr. Jeremy Feller, emphasizes that believers should know that no matter what, God will always be there for all that believe in Him. He cautioned parents that there is life after the festive season and other obligations like paying school fees for their children, so they should spare some funds. He was speaking during the annual leadership summit of bishops held at Migade Church in Luweero district.
God has a plan for every life, and God's plan is good. And so our message this week is that God is building His church, and He is building people up for a good future. And our encouragement is, don't be discouraged as we've come through such difficult last couple of years, that we can have hope in the midst of all the circumstances that we're walking through.
Bishop Peter Simon Emiao explained that those affected by COVID-19 should be hopeful and endeavor to mend their Christian fences spiritually, socially, economically, and physically.
The reason we took this theme is basically to help our people, our leadership, to rebuild them, to get them back where there have been gaps and missings and things like that, even weakness, because those 3 years were not very easy. They were very difficult issues, and there are gaps. There is discouragement, there is options, many ideas came, everybody was alone. But, these are collective decisions we make. So we wanted to ensure that people are rebuilt back into our vision, into our focus, into our faith, into our commitment, into what we believe, into our faith in Christ and in His church. So that's the reason why we did the rebuilding, and to become our theme throughout the years that will come.
The General Secretary, Pentecostal Assemblies of God, Bishop Onaga Jackie Franco, explained that there is need to invest in the youth by creating a youth that is not going to depend on anybody for the survival.
Our goal is we want to be able to harness the young people, equip them with good values, equip them with hands-on skills that can help them live a better living, so that they will not be a dependent population. They will be a people who will be able to create wealth with good values, because you can create wealth with bad values and become a pain to the society.
Brian Tumwenebiaruhanga, UBC News.
Moving on, over 65 companies, non-government organizations and individuals from West Nile have been appreciated for the promotion and developing of West Nile region. This was during the first edition of the West Nile Quality Branding Awards, which attracted several people, including the CEOs, religious leaders, MPs, ministers and the general public.
The Minister of State for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kuichunyi, has commended West Nile Quality Branding Awards organizers for the initiative and encouraged them to continue working hard for the good of the area.
This award means a lot for us, but it also means this is a challenge, because it means we should be doing better and much more than what we have tried to do. So we are going to pull up our socks, we are going to put in more effort, we are going to light up the region, as it were our motto. Our motto is to light up the region. There's so much potentials in West Nile, so much cultural values in West Nile, not talked about even by us.
The President West Nile Quality Branding Awards, Akasa Omar Albe, explains that the event was aimed at appreciating those engaged in developing the region.
West Nile Quality Brand Awards came into existence after we thought all those who put a lot of effort in developing the region need to be appreciated, and that they need to derive some value out of the hard work that they are doing. And this value is in form of the modern networking that would give enough mileage to the organizations.
Albe says that he did this purposely to encourage and motivate the youth to also play a part in the development of the region.
So as a way of appreciating them and as a way of encouraging the young generation to work hard to develop regions, West Nile Quality Brand Awards was started.
The country director Chandaria Group, Vijay Sharma, who was the guest speaker, encouraged entrepreneurs to contribute to their field of operation as an integral part of their professional duty.
It is very important to look at the things that have influence on customer satisfaction. To begin with, product quality is one of the main factors that has influence on customer satisfaction. The product quality has close relationship with customer satisfaction.
Among those recognized included Rock Global Oils, Uganda Christian University, Ambe Buga, Palm Corps, DI, International University of East Africa, Moyo Cooperatives, Crystal Medical, Yamin Pharmacy, and Seroma.
Those are some of the updates for this particular hour, 1 p.m. Thank you so much for watching the national broadcaster and, of course, watching this particular newscast. My name is Sandra Kahunde from the entire team behind the scene. Enjoy your afternoon and keep watching UBC as we inspire you. God bless you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.